Now remember, a paradigm is a worldview. It is a way of looking at things. So this problem of non-paradigm humans is a problem that arises when we encounter human beings that don't fit our worldview of those human beings, or our ideology of what human beings ought to be like. To better understand this problem, consider the following. You're driving to school and you hit a squirrel. What do you do? If you're like most people, you get in the car and drive away. Why? You might say because a squirrel is of little consequence, or because there do not exist emergency services for squirrels on a par with emergency services for human beings. But what if you hit a human being? Again, if you're like most people, you stop. You may say that you stop out of kinship with your fellow humans, or because there are penalties for running over human beings and driving away, and because there are emergency services expressly designed to come to the aid of people hit by cars. But the question we can ask is why there are such penalties and services for human beings and not for animals. If the existence of these services and penalties is justifiable, if it isn't just speciesism, we ought to be able to identify something all human beings have that makes us essentially human, and that makes us more valuable than animals. Unfortunately, anything you elect to serve as the human essence will also be a characteristic shared with some animals and lacking in some humans. If you select intelligence as your proposed essence, it fails, because surely we would not sanction the hit and run of persons with Down syndrome. Likewise with language, emotions, the use of technology, etc. Some animals possess all of these attributes and some humans don't. Inevitably, we will fail to include all the beings we want to include, all humans, and will include some of the creatures we don't want to include, animals. The problem of non-paradigm humans thus suggests that there is no justifiable difference between humans and animals that supports the hit and run of a squirrel, but not that of a human being. As Bentham wrote, "A full-grown horse or dog is beyond comparison a more rational, as well as a more conversable animal, than an infant of a day or a week or even a month old. But suppose they were otherwise, what would it avail? The question is not, can they reason, nor can they talk, but can they suffer?" Singer echoes these sentiments. We may legitimately hold that there are some features of certain beings which make their lives more valuable than those of other beings. But there will surely be some non-human animals whose lives, by any standards, are more valuable than the lives of some humans. A chimpanzee, dog, or pig, for instance, will have a higher degree of self-awareness and a greater capacity for meaningful relations with others than a severely retarded infant or someone in a state of advanced senility. So if we base the right to life on these characteristics, we must grant these animals a right to life as good as, or better than, such retarded or senile humans. And what Singer here is saying is quite controversial, right? He's saying that the lives of some animals are at least as good as, if not more important than, the lives of some human beings. If we're not to commit either mistake, treating the right to life as rooted in characteristics that would make the lives of retarded infants as cheap as the lives of guinea pigs, or the other mistake of treating animals so trivially that we can torture or kill them for any reason, or for even no reason at all, then the right to life and the right to equal consideration can't be based on intelligence or any of the other potential candidates for the human essence. Instead, the capacity for suffering must serve as the vital characteristic that gives a being the right to equal consideration. And, since we share this characteristic with the animals, to deny equal consideration to animal interests is to be a speciesist. And we do behave in ways that are, quote, speciesist. As Singer says, animals are treated like machines that convert fodder into flesh, and any innovation that results in a higher conversion ratio is liable to be adopted. As one authority on the subject has said, cruelty is acknowledged only when profitability ceases. Thus, in